Innovation Rockstars. Innovation Rockstars.
In this episode, we welcome Christian Schmitz from DZ Bank.
Hi, and welcome back to Innovation Rockstars. My name is Chris Müroth, and in this episode, I am thrilled to welcome Christian Schmitz. Christian is Senior Consultant for Innovation and Digitalization at DZ Bank, focusing on making an impact on the future of finance and banking through trend scouting, foresight, strategic innovation management, and digitization efforts. Christian, great to have you on the show. Thanks so much for joining Innovation Rockstars.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me. Really looking forward to the show.
Brilliant. Okay, so as usual, we start with a 60 seconds introduction sprint about you, your career, and your role. So for the next 60 seconds, the virtual stage is all yours. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm 32 years old, was born in Bonn, did an apprenticeship at a bank after graduating from high school. And then the usual, did my undergrad and postgraduate studies on business administration, did some internships in banking and finance. And like 5 years ago, I started my traineeship at DZ Bank. I'm like a real homegrown DZ banker, started in innovation and digitalization and been there ever since. It's part of our strategy division. And in the past, I was mainly responsible for our innovation lab as product lead. A project lead. I was it's our internal accelerator, and nowadays we're more responsible for our trend scouting and foresight management processes.
Okay, wow, that was even below 60 seconds. So this is, I guess, what we call German efficiency. Okay, so next I do have 3-sentence starters for you, and I would like to hear your completing them. So number one is I decided for a career in finance and banking because
I probably will take some more time for that, so it won't be just one sentence. But I started. My parents, they have their own business, and I was always intrigued by the accounting and finance part, not about the handyman part. They have a butcher's shop, so they could never convince me of taking over the family business. But my father got me hooked pretty early on capital markets, finance, and so on. And that was what intrigued me the most about banking. And since I'm the first one in the family to study. And they were always like, okay, first you have to do an apprenticeship, and afterwards you can do whatever you want. And probably it was the right first stepping stone for me to start a career in banking.
Yeah, that's cool. So there's a real story behind that, not just serendipity, but actually you did it for a reason. Great. Okay. Number two, recently I have changed my mind on because
I've recently changed my mind on NFTs, on non-fungible tokens. When there was the hype last year, starting I guess in April or May, sometime around that, I thought it was just a ridiculous price tag on GIFs and JPEGs. But since we did a deep dive last year on NFTs, I changed my mind on it because I realized that there were so many more valuable use cases in banking and finance. So that's what I changed my mind on.
Do you own some?
No, I own some cryptocurrencies, but I don't own any NFTs yet.
Got it.
Who knows?
Okay.
Maybe I will.
Who knows? Who knows? Let's see. Great. And finally, number three is I usually start my mornings with
listening to news podcasts and finishing my daily task of Bubble, because estudio español, and always starting the morning with some tasks.
Muy bien. Okay, great. So now, Christian, let's imagine the following situation. So you are at a family dinner, and everybody is sitting around the table. There is good food, good drinks, good mood, and so on. And you happen to sit next to your grandmother. Now, she asks you, hey, Christian, tell me, what do you do for a living? What do you tell her?
Well, I don't even have to imagine that scenario because that happened in the past quite a lot. My grandmother, she's really old school. She's she's been running the family business before my parents did. So she's not used to innovation, digitization, strategy, and so on. But I'm really proud of her because she got an iPhone and she got an iPad and she's using WhatsApp, and we regularly text. But if I have to explain to her what I'm doing, I probably say I had to explain my studies to her, and that was really easy because it's basically the same way if you do an apprenticeship in a butcher's shop. First you do your bachelor's and then you do your master's, and that way she could understand my studies. But when I tell her about my job, I have to first explain where I work at, because nobody knows the Z Bank, although it's the second biggest bank in Germany. It's not a household name since you can't open a banking account at the bank. But if I tell people that it's the central institution for the cooperative banks, for Volksbanken, Raiffeisenbanken, everybody knows them. So that's the first part. And the second part about my job is, that I connect people, I connect colleagues with startups, with experts in order to drive new ideas, create new products, new services to make people's lives easier, to create better solutions for them. And I also do my best to look into the future, to screen the market for new trends, what might be the next big thing, and what's the impact on that.
Okay, that's great. Now let's say grandma's got that, and then she basically tells you that back in her days, she just went to the bank, headed up to the counter, asked for some money, or gave them some of her money, then maybe even looked at some brochures and then left the bank again. Okay, but nowadays banks are cutting costs by large. In that case, predominantly by, for example, just closing the branches or the shops. So everything seems to be, or is, online now. Now, grandma turns to you and wonders, well, if you close the branches, don't you actually worsen your problems because you remove your competitive advantage of being in personal contact with your customers, but now you put yourself in direct competition with all these new digital companies who are faster, who are more aggressive than you. So grandma is asking, why do you do that?
Yeah, it's a really good question from grandma. But let me ask you, when have you been to the bank the last time? Can you remember?
Actually, I just a couple of weeks ago, but not at the counter. I was just getting some money from the ATM machines and went out again somewhere at midnight, I guess, or something. Yeah.
Okay, that's probably what I do regularly as well. But the last time I've been to a branch just to talk to a banking clerk was probably when I found some money in the ATM that didn't belong to me, so I just gave it back, and that must have been like 4 years ago. And anything else I probably do online. And I guess the question implies that most of our customers still want to go to a branch, but we see a specific change in that. So there are people who expect their products and services to be accessible online, mobile, 24/7, every day of the week. They don't want to go to a branch when it's open from 9 to 4. They want to do their banking everywhere. And we see a big shift in that. They just expect solutions to be available to them anytime. They want to start maybe their loan application. They want to start it online and then move to a branch and talk to a clerk about it and continue the process. It has to be omni-channel. I think we're seeing like big initiatives in the cooperative banking world with regards to making anything any process usable end-to-end digital in a digital way, and having anything online in a multi-channel way, omni-channel. And I think this is really important. And with regards to our competitive advantage, it will not go away with regards to personal relationship managers. Maybe they won't be in the branch which happen to be across the street. Maybe you have to walk a little further, or maybe you even have to take the car or take any public transportation to get there. But they will still be there, and they will have access to more knowledge, to digital knowledge. They will be enabled to help you in any way possible. Plus, they will have ways to get specialists on board if you have specific questions and whatever. And I think this will be a better way of doing banking in the future.
Okay. So it's not a black and white thing, but you clearly, obviously favor, the digital realm. Okay, that's fine. And grandma is happy with your answer, turns away, gets some bottle of wine or whatever. So now let's talk about money. Money, general knowledge is that money is an economic unit, right? It works as a medium of exchange. It is accepted as being used for payment for goods, services, debt, taxes, and such. And then there is gold, or other known precious metals, also known to be a medium of exchange or a store of value, which probably have the longest history. So fast forward to today, we still have the US dollar kind of as a global currency, but as you already said in the beginning, change might be on the horizon. Talk about China, talk about CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, talk about cryptocurrencies, and so on. So my question to you, Christian, is leaping forward, will the monetary system be the same in maybe, let's say, 10 years? How do you guys see it's evolving?
In my mind, I think the monetary system in Europe will basically stay the same. There will be a central banking institution, there will be commercial banks, and there will be other non-banks such as startups or fintechs in 10 years' time. I don't think it will fundamentally change due to the rise of CBDCs or whatever. I think that will stay the same, yeah.
And what about cryptocurrencies? I mean, there is, on the one hand, you have this kind of open and, free-floating, community-based, distributed ledger thing on the one hand. But obviously, you need a control for certain things, including inflation, including all that stuff that the central organizations are doing, which of course favor then CBDCs, maybe not even running on blockchains, but just on digital distributed ledger technologies, for example. So, do you see this somewhat settling in the future? Is it black or white? Will there be maybe a joint usage in the future? What do you think of that?
Yeah, if we have a look at the market of cryptocurrencies, there are probably more than 16,000 available right now. I looked it up on CoinMarketCap just the other day, and that's probably really impressive. But there are lots of alternative coins that probably don't even have any real value, and I think there will be some sort of consolidation in the future. The market trends were only upwards in the past couple of years, so If I could see the developments for the next 10 years, I probably wouldn't be sitting here anymore. But I wasn't able to see the developments of the last 10 years. So still remember back in my postgraduate studies when I had a look at the Bitcoin courses, and they were like $300 to $500, and I was like, wait, I'm not paying that for a Bitcoin. Yes. What's that? Yeah. And even when I started at DZ Bank, it was just about $700 to $800 US, and now I'm thinking, why didn't I invest anymore? But it's a real interesting development that happened in the last couple of years, and we've seen a clear shift of mindset with regards with the attitude of big banks and institutions looking at cryptocurrencies. It's almost 5 years back, and I still remember that we had a hackathon and we did a prototype on a crypto wallet. But I know the hype was huge, but there were even larger insecurities with regards to regulations, with regards to the security aspects and so on. So there was no intention to pursue it at that moment. But now you see like all the big institutions are looking into ways to enable their customers into gaining access to cryptocurrencies in a secure and efficient way in order to gain access to them in sort of a speculation type of asset or investment method. And on the other hand, you see those initiatives from central banks in order to offer CBDCs. There are already some countries like Nigeria or the Bahamas who already started their CBDCs. And there are lots of other pilot projects where CBDCs are being used. And I'm definitely sure that they will come. They will be released in Europe. There will be a digital euro. To my mind, I'm not 100% sure, but the ECB started their pilot project just last October, and it will last until October 23, where they investigate all the potentials of a digital euro, have a look into various use cases, what are the regulatory implications, how could be the process of issuing those digital euros, and what might be the impact on the retail payment markets. And I'm really intrigued by those initiatives, and I think that if we have a look at all those trends like digitization, Internet of Things, like we say in Germany, Industry 4.0, and all those machines that get connected, all those digital processes that are being implemented, a digital currency backed by CBDCs, that might be really useful because customers will place a lot more trust in them than they do in cryptocurrencies right now. And I think this will be the way to go forward. There will be less cryptocurrencies, but they will have specific use cases. But there will be CBDCs on the other hand, which will have a broader reach to people. That's what I think. But only time will tell.
All right, got it. So, and now let's talk about the future more generically. So I know that there is an article authored by you on how DZ Bank looks to the future, using trend scouting to systematically identify and evaluate trends. And I read that article, and in that you say that in the past, the dynamics of future relevant technological and also social cultural changes often were underestimated. True that. However, identifying and evaluating these trends, it is critical to success. So let's talk about it for a while. Since 2016, I learned you have built and now worked with an innovation radar. So can you tell me what exactly is the innovation radar?
Yeah, it's our digital collaboration platform built by ITONICS. And we've been using it for almost 6 years now. It's our way of collaborating with all companies in DZ Bank Group, from RNV Insurance to Union Investment, Asset Management, Team Bank, and all the companies in the DZ Bank Group who get together with innovation managers and collaborate on the platform with regards to innovation and so on.
And what are some of the building blocks of this radar? Can you just guide me through that?
We have 3 main elements. On the one hand, it's the eponymous innovation radar, where we create transparency over current activities that are being worked on at DZ Bank Group. So any company can create an entry, create a new element on a project where they work at. What's happening in those companies, which projects are they working on, which trends are they addressing, in which phase are specific innovation activities, when are they planned to go live, how much do they cost, who's involved, who's the expert on specific trends and activities, and so on.
And how do you govern that? Maybe just a question. How is the governance around that? I mean, can just really, everybody just enter something to that? Is there a review process? How does that work?
Yeah, we've got some key users from DZ Bank Group. So there are our main persons of contact with regards to innovation and digitization. They are the key users in various companies, and they oversee their activities that are entered into the platform. So there's not just the free flow of anything, because we don't try to regulate anything. So the more the merrier, and I'm really happy for any activity that's on the platform, because it creates more transparency about ongoing activities, and we have potential synergetic effects. But there's no obligation to use the platform. It's all based on the value it creates for people, or for all the innovation managers that can use the platform and gain insights on current activities.
Okay, got it. And then there is, as said before, the trend radar, which is also fueled by your trend scouting process. So how does that look like? Is there a process behind that? What are the steps? How does in more general, how does the identification of trends actually work? We get your data from lots of questions, I know, but I'm just curious to see how you guys do that.
Yeah, the trend radar is the second element of the innovation radar platform, and we currently screen about 220 trends and technologies on the platform. We identify them using various sources, ranging from research reports, from consultancy studies, from trend reports. We don't have a specific trend system that we use where we gain insights, because we do this all by ourselves, because we want it to be tailor-made to our specific needs, or to the relevance, with regards to relevance to all the companies in DZ Bank Group. So there's no need for us to just have a broad look at what are trends all over the world. We have to make it tailor-made to us, and that's why we put a lot of effort into identifying those trends. And afterwards, we usually do this in workshops with colleagues from all over DZ Bank Group, and even colleagues from all over the Cooperative Financial Network in Germany, to get broad insights with regards to any business model that is relevant to our group. And then we do research on those trends. We create like profiles for any trend, which serves as the first starting point for any innovation manager who wants to get more insights on, for example, the blockchain or artificial intelligence. So anybody can use the trend radar, get a glimpse of what those trends are about, which impacts they might have on DZ Bank Group, and what's the way to go forward.
Okay, so that's one. You have the digital platform, the Innovation Radar, Trend Radar, and so on. And then I got to know you have labs. You have actually quite a few of them. A trend lab, I guess, a sprint lab, and so on. So how does that fit into that? Is this where you do your workshops? Is it much more? How do the labs come into play?
Yeah, the labs are, like, I would say they're still at the heart of everything we do in our department. There's the so-called Innovation Lab, which serves as the brand for various programs, such as the Trend Lab, the Sprint Lab, the Prototyping Lab, Process Lab, Data Lab, Strategy Lab.
Wow.
So we do have quite a few labs, but they really all work together, and they create the whole innovation process. So if we take a look at the Trend Lab, for example, which is a main element of our trend scouting or trend management process. We do deep dives into future-oriented trends and technologies, for example, tokenization or stable coins or artificial intelligence or quantum computing. Last term, we had a look at non-fungible tokens, as I said before. And this is a really great program. It's a workshop series where experts from all over the DZ Bank Group come together in order to gain insights, to do a deep dive into a specific trend, to create a common understanding, to have a look at the market and use cases. What do our competitors do? What are startups doing in a specific field? And of course, looking cross industries. What are other players in the market doing with regards to, for example, Internet of Things? And afterwards, we try to create potential use cases that are relevant for us after we assess the impact that those trends might have on our business models. And in the end, there's some sort of research paper with implications and suggestions for further actions that is presented to the management board. And I think this is a great foundation for further innovations. And there are a couple of other formats. Let me briefly get into the main formats, which are the Sprint Lab. That's some sort of a quick workshop series, like 1 week, based on Google Design Sprint and design thinking methods, which we use to create ideas or solve problems. It's just a quick session, just 1 week, where we get together with the business units and help them solve problems. Then there's the largest program. It's the Prototyping Lab, which lasts for 3 months. And we use. It works like that. There's a business unit or a company from DZ Bank Group. They say, hey, we've got an idea, and we want to work on that. We want to create prototypes. And we want to evaluate our ideas with potential customers. And they go into the lab. They get our infrastructure. They get resources, especially developers, UX designers, and so on. And then they have like 3 months of time to create a prototype, to create a valuable business case, to validate their ideas with customers. And they all use agile working methods such as Scrum. They use the lean startup methodology. And I think that's really great. And the lab serves as sort of a platform for other departments in the bank, such as our IT, which provides data analytics and business intelligence services. And they do that in a specific lab called Data Lab. And then there are some experts from our organization division. They are experts in lean management and process optimization. And then they help units optimize their processes in the process lab. So quite a lot of labs, but they all get together perfectly and create our innovation process.
Quite a lot of labs. And who runs the labs? Is it a one-man show, a one-woman show? Is it 5 people, 10 people? How large are the teams?
Well, our team now consists of 9 people, and we split them up in sort of virtual team settings. So we have 5 to 6 people organizing and coordinating the lab, and 3 people running the strategic part of innovation management with regards to trend scouting, foresight management, and all the other strategic initiatives. And in the lab team, we've got specific responsibilities for the format. So we've got an agile coach who's a scrum master and works as an innovation coach for the teams in the prototyping lab. And then we have an agile coach with regards to the sprint lab who does all the design sprints and design thinking workshops and so on. So we work together with external developers who support the teams in the prototyping lab to create the prototypes. But apart from that, we try to do most of it on our own.
Okay, got it. This sounds like a solid process, even making sure, you're having a, considerable impact for, management decisions and showing this to the board and presenting that. So that's great. I want to talk a little bit more about impact with you. But before we continue, let's play a quick game, which is called Either Or. So it's a game of choice. I will give you 2 options, Christian, and you choose one and then spend 1 sentence each to briefly explain your choice. And 1 sentence can have a lot of commas in Germany. So yeah, you can, okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Number 1, would you rather fail fast, fail hard, fail often, or make slow, strategic, but very thoughtful moves?
Well, I think I'm an entrepreneur by heart, or at least I'd like to be. So I'm all for option 1, fail fast, fail hard, fail often, but never miss out on the learning part of it. So if you fail, accept it as a way of moving forward and learn from it.
Great answer. Okay. So either read books or watch movies, and why?
Well, that's a tough one. I'd probably watch movies. I'm an avid reader, but I'm really ashamed. But I only read during vacation. That's the only time I can really focus on a book and really deep dive into it. But with regards to innovation and trends and technologies and so on, I'd probably rather listen to podcasts or watch YouTube videos because they're far more current and they have all the latest news.
Yeah, makes sense. But that was slightly cheating, so I count this as watch movies. I struck the podcast thing. Okay. And finally, I guess that's a tough one. Either use cash or CBDCs.
Since I cannot use CBDCs yet, I probably have to go by cash, but that hurts my heart because I'm trying to be as cashless as possible. The only time actually that I have to use cash is when I top up my card to go into the bank's restaurant, and that's the only time that I still need to use cash. But apart from that, I try to be as cashless as possible. And as soon as CBDCs are available, as soon as there is a digital euro, I'll check it out. Definitely, that's the task of any innovation manager.
So you guys don't have any DZ Bank coin or whatever to go to the Mensa? Interesting. Okay, well. Okay, now let's talk about impact. Thanks for the answers. I want to come back to innovation impact for a couple of minutes. Given your innovation lab as a whole and all the different formats, so Trend Lab, Sprint Lab, Prototyping Lab, and so on, what would you say, what is their impact on innovation and also on innovation performance at the DZ Bank?
I guess you reap what you sow. I think we started in September 2016, and it was like this little plant. It was just called the Innovation Lab, and there was just the one program that's now called Prototyping Lab. So we started with this 3-month program, and it was a first for the bank because they weren't used to Scrum, to agile working methods. They weren't used to lean startup, to build, measure, learn. It was a really new way of creating products, creating services, and creating processes. And yeah, we had to prove that it would work. And the results that came in the last couple of years, they really showed that this way of working is successful, and it's fast, and it's efficient, and you can create real valuable new products from it. And that's what I think was the most important part of that. We were the first to implement agile working methods in the bank, and now there are huge programs within our bank with regards to digital readiness, where they plan to implement agile working methods with regards to change projects all over the bank. And I really think that was all based on cultural change that happened. It's not just due to the lab, but I think the lab was some kind of fire starter with regards to that. And it's always based on cultural clash. I think if you innovate and you do innovation and you don't run against some barricades, you're probably doing it wrong. And it took quite some time for the lab to catch on. But now it's really implemented in the organization, and even the most strategic projects are being validated in the lab with 3 months of prototyping, and I think that was really impressive to see. And if we have a look at the results, what I'm really proud of is our huge conversion rate. Like 70% of all the projects that run through the lab, especially through the prototyping lab, they are being implemented in the bank, and there are and lots of projects are already live. So that's really cool. There are lots of success stories from the lab. It's not just a sandbox where you try things out and then just leave it hanging there. Yeah.
But that's cool. All right. So we got people, culture, we have process and data. What about technology? So how has using a software platform to manage all that innovation trends and so on changed the way that the DZ Bank innovates today?
First of all, I think that the platform is like an essential piece of the whole puzzle. But it can only work if it's integrated in all the other parts of the innovation process. It's like I always say, it doesn't help if you just have a lab, or it doesn't help if you have a platform. It has to be implemented, embedded in a strategy, in various processes, in workshops. You have to really work it. You have to work the platform. You have to gain users, because it's the chicken and egg problem that any platform has. We have the technology, but we have to get users on board. Because even if let's take a look at the trend radar. The trend radar only comes to life if people from all over the DZ Bank Group evaluate the trends and say, okay, well, these are relevant trends to us, and these are relevant trends to us. And some other people from other companies with other business models will see totally different trends as relevant. And only if we get all those insights and get data from a lot of colleagues, then the real value can be derived from the platform. And same with the fintech radar. We have a huge database of 1,200 startups, and it's nice to have all those insights. But if people don't use it and don't enter their collaborations, which helps to create transparency, the platform is useless. But fortunately, they work the platform, and I'm really happy for that. But you always have to create value for the users to to access the platform, to use it. And that's why we spend a lot of time researching trends and uploading fintech profiles in collaboration with the students from the Steinbeis University. So this is really nice, and we create value on the platform, and the platform is an essential piece of the puzzle. Yeah.
All right, so we do have people, culture, then we have the processes, then data, and now technology, and mixing up all that. Can you give us maybe one, of course, non-confidential example of a successful project, initiative, innovation that came out of all of these activities?
Yeah, there are quite a few examples, but if I had to choose a rather recent one, I probably think of the collaboration we did with a startup. It's called Paperchain, and it's a blockchain-based B2B platform that enables machine manufacturers to settle pay-per-use machine-to-machine payments. And that was really impressive, and I think that was like a cool process that shows all the ways that the cooperative financial network can come together, because it was in 2020 or 2019. I don't even remember. It was the last 2 years. They were like a rush. It just flew by my head. Yeah, but it was quite some time ago when I got a call from a local bank, and they said, "Hey, Christian, we have a huge corporate customer, and they have a spin-off. It's a fintech, and they're looking for a banking partner and a partner for insurance. Could you have a look into that? It sounds really promising." And then we got various innovation managers from the DZ Bank Group together with the startup, and they discussed what the startup is all about. And then they went ahead and did the Sprint Lab, in order to gain insights in how to work together, how to collaborate, and afterwards they started prototyping their idea. And I really think that's like open innovation and the power of the cooperative network that comes together, and power of the DZ Bank Group with various business models ranging from insurance to banking, transaction banking, capital markets, and so on, to create like a really great solutions for customers.
That's a great example. All right, cool. Christian, we're kind of facing the end of our episode, but before, let's briefly summarize your insights. So what would you say, what are your 3 most impactful learnings from your work in innovation digitization at DZ Bank? 3 most impactful learnings.
I guess first, there's no I in team. There's always has to be a team with regards to innovation. It's a sport where you work together in a team, and it cannot happen in just one unit. It's probably what I said before. It's when all those companies, all those innovation managers get together, collaborate, even with outside external partners, open innovation. It's about collaboration and the interplay of various persons. And in my department, it's our job to help the bank to increase their innovation capabilities. And I think that's my number 1. Number 2 definitely is management commitment. I've learned that this is probably the most important, or like one of the really crucial parts of innovation. If you don't have leaders that are driving innovation forwards and who don't believe that creating new products, new services, new business models will help the company in the long term, who don't accept failure as a means of going forward, who are stuck in the old ways, or who are just looking at cutting corners and doing something a little more efficient, but don't have a look at the bigger picture, then you're bound to fail. And I think that's really important as well. Our management board is top class with regards to innovation, and I'm really happy that there are people who are who like fully support the innovation activities. And lastly, I mentioned it briefly before. It's about mindset and culture. Innovation has so much to do with culture, with courage and innovation, and I think you have to. It has to be deeply rooted at the core of the company's values. And I'm really proud that DZ Bank has a new, like a charter of attitudes, like I would call it in English. And courage and innovation are main elements of those attitudes that we display in a daily business in order to create success for us and for our customers. But it's all about culture. You have to get your colleagues on board, even those that might be a little unwilling to change, because we all know change is always good as long as it doesn't concern yourself.
Sure.
But that's important as well.
Great. Okay, so the three ones were, the number one was, the first one was team, building a camaraderie somewhat. Then second, management and management board support. And number three, mindset and culture, but not only written down, but really lived by the company and lived by everybody. Okay, that's great. And when you look back on your professional career at DZ Bank, what would you say, what was your greatest innovation rockstar moment so far?
Yeah, I guess those were the big stage moments that we all miss in the last 2 years. I still remember fondly when I organized the first hackathon in Frankfurt, and there were like 120 colleagues who were really excited to spend 3 days locked inside Tech Quartier and just to code and to hack and to present and to work together in agile teams. And that was when I took the stage and welcomed them to the show. That was probably one of my big rockstar moments. Same with every kickoff meeting in the innovation lab when we start a new batch, or when we have our demo day where we present all the results of the lab to our colleagues. These are probably the real rockstar moments when I take the stage and present great news to lots of colleagues.
Yeah, hopefully you're back soon on the big stages. Sounds awesome. Christian, thank you. And let me say it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for the insights, for the inspiring insights, and being a part of this.
Thank you very much. It was really great. Thank you for having me.
And to everybody listening or watching, if you like the show, leave us a rating or a review and share the podcast with colleagues and friends and whomever. And if you want to get in touch, simply shoot us a message at info@innovationrockstars.show. Now that's it. Thanks for the time. See you in the next episode. Take care and bye-bye.
Innovation Rockstars.
That was Innovation Rockstar Christian Schmitz about banks in times of digital change. If you want to dive deeper into the topic of innovation and disruption at the DZ Bank, or if you'd simply like to give us feedback on this episode, feel free to email us at info@innovationrockstars.show. For more inspiring innovation stories, visit our website at www.innovationrockstars.show. or browse through our Innovation Rockstars channel on all major podcast platforms. And while you are here, please leave us a rating for our show.